Your feet often reveal more about your health than you might realize, and when it comes to diabetes, they can provide early and important clues long before a major complication develops. Many people overlook small changes in the way their feet feel, look, or function. But these small changes can serve as the first warning signs that something deeper is happening inside the body. Today, I want to guide you through these signs in a calm and simple way, so you can understand what your feet might be trying to tell you. Because early awareness is one of the strongest tools you have to protect your long-term health. One of the first things many people with rising blood sugar experience is a sensation that something feels off in their feet. You may notice a tingling, a buzzing, or a pins and needles feeling that comes and goes at first, and this can be easy to dismiss as fatigue, poor posture, or even tight shoes. But over time, if the numbness or tingling continues or becomes more frequent, this can be an early sign of nerve irritation caused by chronically elevated blood sugar. High glucose levels slowly damage the tiny nerve fibers that send messages between your feet and your brain, and when those nerves begin to weaken, the sensations in your feet start to change. What begins as mild tingling can become a constant numbness, a feeling as though your feet are wrapped tightly or not responding normally, and if this continues unchecked, it becomes harder to detect heat, cold, or even pain. This makes injuries far more dangerous because you may not notice them until they have already worsened. As nerve changes progress, circulation problems often appear as well, and one of the most visible signs of this is swelling in the feet or ankles. When blood vessels are repeatedly exposed to high blood sugar, they become stiff and less efficient at moving blood smoothly throughout the body. This restricted blood flow affects your lower legs first, because your feet are the farthest from your heart and require strong circulation to stay healthy. When the blood isn't moving effectively, fluid begins to collect in the tissues around the feet and ankles, leading to noticeable swelling. Some people see this swelling at the end of the day. Others notice it after long periods of standing or sitting, and in many cases, they assume it's harmless. But when swelling happens frequently, especially in someone with diabetes or someone who is at risk of developing it, it is a sign that the circulatory system is struggling and the underlying cause needs to be addressed. Swelling can also be worsened by kidney strain, another complication of long-term high blood sugar, which makes it even more important to recognize early. Another sign that often goes unnoticed until it becomes serious is the slow healing of cuts, scrapes, or blisters on the feet. When blood sugar remains high for long periods, the body's natural healing mechanism slows down dramatically. Blood flow becomes compromised, meaning oxygen and nutrients, which are essential for repairing tissues, reach damaged areas much more slowly. At the same time, the immune system's ability to respond quickly and effectively is weakened, making the body far more vulnerable to infections. A small blister from a new shoe, a minor cut from dry skin, or even a crack in the heel can turn into a much larger problem because the body struggles to repair the tissue. This is why regular inspection of your feet becomes so important for anyone with diabetes or pre-diabetes. By noticing slow healing areas early, you can prevent wounds from progressing into ulcers or severe infections that require medical intervention. Along with slow healing, another issue arises when the skin on the feet becomes excessively dry. Dry skin is something many people overlook, but in the context of diabetes, it can be a strong indicator that nerve function has changed. When the nerves that control moisture levels in the skin begin to malfunction, the natural oil and sweat production decreases, causing the skin to lose its elasticity and become rough, flaky, and prone to cracking. These cracks, especially around the heels, may open deeper than expected and create small but significant entry points for bacteria. Because of reduced sensation, many individuals do not even feel these cracks forming, and by the time they notice discomfort, an infection may have already begun. This is why moisturizing the feet regularly, checking for cracks, and keeping the skin smooth are far more than cosmetic habits. They are critical steps in preventing complications. Some people with diabetes also report that their feet feel unusually cold, even when the rest of their body feels warm. This cold sensation is usually the result of reduced blood flow, as the vessels supplying the feet narrow or become damaged over time. Warm blood simply does not reach the feet in sufficient amounts, and the tissues begin to feel colder to the touch. In some cases, neuropathy can also alter temperature perception, making the feet feel cold even when the skin is warm. Regardless of the cause, persistent coldness in the feet is a sign that circulation needs to be evaluated, and improved diabetes management may be required. Changes in the skin color of the feet also provide important clues about underlying health. When circulation becomes impaired, the skin may appear pale, bluish, or darker than usual. A bluish tint suggests reduced oxygen reaching the tissues, whereas redness may indicate inflammation or early infection. These changes are not random. They reflect what is happening beneath the surface in the blood vessels and tissues. If you notice any unusual or persistent change in the color of your feet, it is important to pay attention, because these color shifts can warn you about circulation problems long before pain or more serious symptoms develop. Another subtle sign of poor circulation is the gradual loss of hair on the toes or lower legs. Hair follicles depend on a steady supply of oxygen-rich blood to grow. When circulation weakens, hair growth becomes patchy or stops altogether. Many people brush off hair loss as a normal part of aging, but on the lower legs and feet, it often points to reduced blood flow. This does not cause pain, but it serves as a quiet reminder that the tissues in the feet are not receiving the nourishment they need. As diabetes progresses, pain while walking can also develop. This type of pain, often felt as cramping or aching in the calves, feet, or toes when walking, is a sign of claudication, a condition caused by restricted blood flow to the muscles. When muscles do not receive enough oxygen during activity, they send signals of discomfort, and the pain typically improves when you rest. Many people mistake this for simple muscle fatigue, but in the context of diabetes, it reflects a deeper circulatory problem that needs medical attention. Over time, this poor oxygen supply also affects the structure of the feet. In some individuals, the shape of the foot begins to change due to nerve damage. When nerves weaken, they can no longer properly control the small muscles that support the bones of the foot. This imbalance can cause the arch to collapse, the toes to curl, or the overall structure of the foot to shift. These structural changes alter the distribution of pressure when walking, increasing the likelihood of developing pressure points, calluses, or ulcers. These foot shape changes do not happen suddenly. They progress slowly, making early detection essential. Finally, fungal infections are very common in people with diabetes because fungi thrive in warm, moist environments, especially when immune function is not as strong as it should be. The spaces between the toes are especially vulnerable, and infections like athlete's foot can cause redness, itching, peeling, and cracking. While fungal infections may seem minor, they can become serious in someone with diabetes because cracked skin increases the risk of bacterial infections, and reduced sensation may delay noticing the problem. All of these signs, from numbness and swelling to color changes, slow healing, and infections, are ways your feet communicate the overall health of your nerves, blood vessels, and immune system. By paying attention to these signs, you place yourself in a much stronger position to detect diabetes early or prevent its complications from progressing. Regular foot care, proper blood sugar management, healthy nutrition, and timely medical evaluations form the foundation of protecting your long-term health. Your feet are always giving you information. Learning to listen to them is one of the simplest and most powerful steps you can take toward preventing serious complications and maintaining a healthier future.